When I moved to Germany, I thought learning German would be my biggest challenge. But I was wrong. I've discovered since arriving here is something far more surprising. And it's a problem that many people don't talk about. I came to Germany with my husband and the kids through the family reunion program. Since my husband works here in Germany, we were able to move legally, which made the transition smooth. And there were many things going on with the bureaucracy, with the old documents, and when I finally got my ID card and other documents, I received one more note from the government. It wasn't just ID card, there was a letter which said that I was obliged to enroll in integration courses to learn Dutch. And frankly speaking, I was excited to get into this course and learn the language.
Das Wohnzimmer ist groß und es ist sehr hell.
I believe that it's very necessary to know the language, at least like B1 level, to be able to live in the country and do not feel miss out. And I was very enthusiastic about this course. But then I learned something that made me pause. So what are integration courses? Integration course or Integration-Kurse are designed to help immigrants and newcomers to learn the language, to learn the system, to learn about the culture and feel more connected to people, to locals, and being able to live normally here. These courses are mandatory for certain immigrants, especially those who came to Germany through family reunion programs or asylum seekers and who don't already speak German.
Artyom, sprichst du Deutsch?
Nein.
But here's where things get more interesting. Not everyone pays for this course. In fact, the German government, through the Federal Office for Migration and Refugees, covers most of the cost. Some groups, like refugees or recipients of social benefits, don't pay anything at all, which turns out negatively for locals. I've been attending those courses for the last months and they're pretty intense. 5 days a week, 4 hours in a row, so it's like a part-time job. But I love it, it's really worth it. I slowly getting into the culture, the understanding of people around, and it feels really good. On the first lesson we had around 25 people and there was some organization work done with us, with the paper stuff, and so it turned out that only 5 of us actually paid for the course and others were completely covered by the government, which I found quite strange because some of those people, they already have been living in Germany for more than 2 years and they already had a job in Germany, but still all expenses were covered, even including the transportation, which was really weird for me. Артём, ну иди сюда. Давай, говори, что такое. Germany's system is incredibly generous. Imagine you arrived in your country, you go to the city hall, and quite soon you get all the documents that you need to your address card, your ID cards, and then you go to the job center or a social amt center. And voila, you have a decent standard of living. You have a social housing, you have money to buy food, you can be integrated through job or integration courses. You even get a pocket money just to pamper yourself from time to time. Isn't a dream life for any immigrant? And I get the idea that Germans wanted to make a life for those immigrants, make a life to those who just came to the country easier, to help them integrate, to adapt the system, the culture, the tradition, the language. But here's where the generosity starts to backfire. For the past 8 months, I've been exposed to different stories, shocking stories for me, from Russians and Ukrainians, about the way they adapt the system and about the way they cheat the system. And some of them do it deliberately. For example, I've heard stories about those integration courses I mentioned above. After course is over, every participant is supposed to pass the exam and confirm that he achieved B1 level. And some immigrants, on purpose, they fail the exam. Why, would you ask? Well, because they want to stay in a school longer. Thus, they don't need to go and work. And still, they have those excuses that I don't have enough level of German language, so I can't work normally. And this is why I need to pass, I need to get into these courses one more time. And some people do it a few times in a row, which I find so unfair towards, first of all, those who pay for those courses. Locals, they pay taxes, and those taxes cover these courses and teachers and materials and all of that. That means they spend extra 5 or 6 months in the school and they studied German again without contributing to the market, to the economy, to the country, but receiving that free money. But others follow different strategy. They work unofficially. So they can work as a hairdressers, as a beauty specialists, or other small businesses. And it's like everywhere. It's so widely spread because it's literally in our culture. In Russia, you can meet so many people who have those side hustles. And since those people, they are not officially registered, they don't pay taxes. And in some cultures, like in Russia or I think in Ukraine, because Russians and Ukrainians, they're really, really close mindset people, there is a saying, if you can get something from the government from free, take it all. And it's very common practice in my homeland in Russia to work in black without paying any taxes at all. In Russia, people just want to make money and not giving a ruble to the government. And there are so many ways how we Russians do it, like renting an apartment unofficially, or doing some procedures at home, beauty procedures, or working as a tutor at home. And there are tons of different things and small businesses you can just have without notifying some authorities about it and like be happy about it. And it's really totally fine in Russia. But here in Germany, I believe that this way is something that creates problems for the economy, for the system, for the locals. The Germans didn't seem to anticipate of how much some immigrants benefit from their system. It's the local population that's footing the bill, paying taxes, struggle to maintain a decent standard of living, while some immigrants exploit the benefits and some can even have a better standard of living than a person who lives here in Germany for 20 years. I don't think it's fair. Another crazy story which I heard from a couple who officially divorced here in Germany. So the mother, she claimed herself as a single mother. So she got extra money from the government as a single mother. But it turned out she lived with her ex-husband just unofficially. Thus, they got this extra income from the government because the government assumed that she is alone, she needs help, she's with the children, she can't work fully. And it's so nice to have this social support for a woman who is alone with a child. It can be really hard. But when you use it in such a, like, it doesn't feel right, you know? And this situation is super risky because if someone from authorities would know this, there will be huge consequences for that family. But the temptation to get easy money is pretty strong. In Russia, it's pretty normal to behave this way. And I've already mentioned this type of behavior we have in our culture integrated in my previous videos. It's just because there is no trust between people in the government, and people prefer just cheat the system, work in black, and everyone feels fine. But here in Germany, I feel like it doesn't work, and it's so unfair, and Germans don't deserve it. They created so many programs for those who are struggling to live in their countries, and they really want to help. But some people are using it in such a nasty way just to get their personal benefits from the system, and they basically don't care about the country, the people, and there is no appreciation of those things they actually got from for free from the people, all this help and all this assistance. So why am I telling you all this? Because when different cultures collide, interesting things happen. Some people come here out of necessity, fleeing war, just wanting a safe place to live. But others don't seem to feel any gratitude for everything they get. Instead, they want to take more and more and more, developing a mindset of entitlement. Coming back to those integration courses, when you pay for something, you really appreciate this thing. The easiest example is that if you buy a course or a book, you would read it, you would study it, you would watch video about it, and you would learn because you understand that you put some money into it and you want to get some value from this. But when you get something for free, you don't really value this thing because you didn't put any effort to get it. And those people who involved integration courses for free completely, they feel no appreciation. They feel that the government must give it to them to help them to integrate in the country. And this mindset can lead to a situation when a person doesn't really care about all the help and all the assistance, all the support he gets from the government, even from local people, because locals, they help so much, especially to those who came from Ukraine, and they help with not only money but food and stuff and furniture, and some hosted people for a year or so, and it's really a big help. And if people would be more conscious about what is going on and understand that it's not even my country, it's not even people I can speak with in the same language, not feeling any note of gratitude or appreciation, I feel it's so offensive and disrespectful to those who actually do all this job. And this is not something that Germans expected when they opened the doors to so many people from different cultures. We discussed this topic a lot with those who live here for years and with the local Germans. And many said that there was expectation at first hand in low cost of different services for people. But it turned out differently. The prices went up, and still there are more people who need support from the government, and who is losing in this situation. Germans are those who are losing this game. And I really don't understand what is the point to welcome so many people without skills, without a desire to integrate in the country and respect local people. Those people who would just drain the system instead of contributing to it. There is also the question of whether these people will truly integrate. If they don't appreciate the help they are getting, how likely are they to assimilate? Many immigrants choose to stay within their own communities, eat their traditional food, speak their own language, and live their old way of life. Is this what the Germans wanted? I don't think so. Now, I'm an immigrant myself. It's already the third country I live in, and I hope that the German government will finally turn the situation in different direction and focus firstly on improving life of their own people. Helping others is a wonderful thing, but when people get too much for free, most of the time they want to get even more and more and more. And there is no end to it. After living here in Germany for 8 months, I do appreciate what the country gave us, gave to our family. I'm happy that our children have a nice education. My daughter, she goes to a German school without any integration classes. She's just went into it and feels really okay. And my little son, he also goes to the kindergarten, and it's quite challenging for him due to the language barrier, but still this opportunity to actually put your child in the community, German-speaking community and locals, is so nice to have this opportunity. And I don't know any other countries that have such a such a supportive system for those who arrived in the country. It's amazing to have, and what we should do is to remind ourselves that we are actually just people who came here. We don't belong to this land, and we haven't contributed yet to this country enough to feel like we must to get all of this. At least I think this way. Germans is not easy to understand, but if a person really wants to do so, wants to connect with the people, wants to learn about the culture, the tradition, and wants to be a part of this community, it turns out such a beautiful place, and the place where you want to make friends, where you want to settle down, where you want to create your better life. I would love to hear your thoughts about this topic. I think the topic of immigration is really intense nowadays, not only in Germany or in Europe, but in US, for instance, in Canada. And we can say that when there is such a mix of cultures going on in the country, it's going to turn out in a bad way for own people, for its citizens, because people just don't understand each other. Even though we are all Europeans, we have the same religion, still there are so many differences which I shared with you in this video and in others videos. And what can be worse when different religions collide? But we shall discuss it in the next videos. I'm really curious to know what you think, and I do appreciate the time you spent here watching my videos and your support. Thank you for watching this video. Be safe and sound. See ya.
Say see ya.
Yeah. Oh, see ya. Go. Done.